So in this segment, we're going to be talking about asylum seekers in Napier Barracks, facing a blacklist for speaking out. So essentially, the whistleblowers who said that the conditions at Napier Barracks were inhumane are being punished by the Home Office and the company that is running the barracks, which is just shocking behaviour to treat people like this. So asylum seekers held at the Home Office's widely criticised military barracks in Kent claim they will be blacklisted if they speak out over last week's High Court ruling that the decision to use the site was unlawful. So what you're seeing here is people who spoke out being punished for speaking out. That's wrong in any walk of life. You don't attack whistleblowers because they're the ones that have told you something is going wrong within the system, and instead you should actually listen to them and look for improvements. But instead, the government want to take the cheap option, which is to have to blacklist whistleblowers and to punish them. That's what the government are doing here. Staff employed by private Home Office contractors at the Napier Barracks site at Folkestone have allegedly told residents that their asylum application will be impaired if they talk to the media about conditions at the camp, which is a load of rubbish, because I think you would have a judge that would rule on asylum claims. So the judge isn't like, let's have a look. You spoke out against the Home Office, we're going to get rid of you. This is just a threat against people to stop them speaking out about inhumane conditions because a contractor can't be bothered to actually pay the money to fix the place up. That's what's happened here. On Thursday, asylum seekers won a legal challenge against the government that ruled Napier's squalid accommodation failed to meet a minimum standard. It's not a high standard. We're not expecting them to stay in 5-star hotels or even 3 or 2-star hotels, just a basic standard of living. That's not going to cause a COVID outbreak. But shouts out to the government because they went against all of those things, apart from they caused a COVID outbreak at this place. Maddie Harris from Humans for Rights Network, which documents violations against asylum seekers, said allegations that contracted staff were still warning asylum seekers that their claims would be compromised for shedding light on conditions was alarming. And again, this is wrong. You don't treat people like this. You just don't. If they speak out, and they're right to speak out, which we know in this case they definitely were, you don't punish them. You tell them, look, if there are issues within this camp, you spoke out, nothing is going to happen to you for it because they've done the right thing. Harris said she understood that one staff member had approached a group of 5 Napier residents and singled 2 of them out. They were specifically told that it was known they had spoken to the media and this would affect their claims, she said. And the thing is, they shouldn't be punished like this. And, you've got staff threatening asylum seekers. It's embarrassing, don't you think, that in the UK that this is happening? It's frustrating beyond belief that the UK is treating people like this. If we put the facilities in place to actually process asylum claims properly, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. But once again, the UK government failed to stump up the cash needed in order to keep the system going. They would rather, give 32 billion to a failed test and trace system than they would to actually help this country. After the High Court ruling, Harris said fresh allegations emerged that Napier residents were again warned not to approach the media. But the thing is, if you're telling people not to approach the media, then clearly you have something to hide. So this contractor should be fired from this job and they should get a new one in, or should be run by the Home Office directly, because this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing that the Home Office and this company are bullying people to stop them from speaking out, when realistically they should just make this place safe from the jump. How much are these legal challenges costing? How much are the lawyers that costing that Preet Patel and the Home Office have to pay for with taxpayers' money? How much will it cost for the damages for the people that brought the claims forward? I think it was about 6 of them. How much are those damages going to be? Because I reckon they could go into the thousands. You could have put that money to making the place good from the jump, but you didn't. As she understood it, this is Harris. As she understood that they were told by staff that there's a full list of people in the camp and that their names have been circled who are known to have spoken to journalists. They were told it's going to be a problem for their asylum claims. Again, bullying people because they've spoken to the media. It's embarrassing. Asylum is a human right backed by the UN Refugee Convention and assessed in the UK using agreed screening processes and the Home Office immigration casework. And the thing is, this is once again a case that we could get dinged by the UN over this for treating people like this. The UK, the sick man of Europe, once again, because we can't even treat asylum seekers properly. We've got another video on it about unaccompanied minors and potentially taking the Home Office to court. So subscribe for that. But the article goes on to say it has also emerged that trafficking victims appear to have been transferred to Napier Barracks, contrary to new official guidance on the barracks. The High Court also criticised the Home Secretary's process for choosing people to be accommodated at the site as flawed and unlawful. So even the selection process they use to send people to this place is flawed. Can they do anything right? Honestly, because with regards to this place, they failed on multiple levels. I guess the only good thing that they've done is the roof hasn't fallen in. Guidance for Home Office staff made publicly available the day before the High Court verdict. Gee, I wonder why they did that. Is it so they can say to the court, oh, look, we're making changes? But dated the 27th of May, this definitely looks like the case, states that asylum seekers were unsuitable for the barracks if they had been reported to the National Referral Mechanisms, which is designed to identify and support human trafficking victims. But this didn't happen. Clearly these victims were still sent to Napier Barracks. However, Claire Mosley of charity Care for Calais said they had managed to remove 45 residents from Napier over concerns they were trafficking victims since the camp reopened 2 months ago. So what you can see is that a charity is doing a better job than the Home Office of filtering out vulnerable people from Napier Barracks, vulnerable asylum seekers. Like, how embarrassing is it if you're the Home Office and a charity is doing a better job than you? I'd be ashamed if I worked at the Home Office and this was the case. The High Court also heard that Public Health England had warned Patel that the use of dormitories meant a COVID virus outbreak was inevitable. That means it was guaranteed to happen. Half its almost 400 residents were subsequently infected, 200 people. Despite crowded rooms being identified as the cause, sources say the Home Office was planning to increase the room's capacity at Napier from 12 to 14. So clearly they're not learning the lesson. And what the judge should do is they should they should get this place shut down. They should absolutely get this place shut down because it's not safe. And clearly the contractors are not doing a good enough job to look after these people. And the government aren't doing a good job either. The judge, I would hope, could order a purpose-built facility built by the government to deal with asylum seekers. But that's not going to happen. Sally Hugh, a volunteer at Napier, said she had been informed that despite concerns over a third coronavirus wave, room capacity increases were being considered. And I'd ask you this, are these asylum seekers going to be vaccinated? Most likely not. That means if they do go into wider society, they could easily spread COVID to other people. Because we have decided to create a situation where COVID will become inevitable, and the fact that we have failed to, we are increasing the room sizes for these places as well, which further increases the chance of COVID. So, in conclusion, this video tells you that the government really do not care about asylum seekers. Genuinely do not care. They might care about asylum seekers from Hong Kong, but they don't care about other asylum seekers from Africa or the Middle East, or wherever else these people are from. So, it does show you that the Home Office really don't care about the most vulnerable in society. And for the people who voted for this government, I hope you're happy. I hope this is the government you wanted. A bunch of scumbags who treat people like rubbish. Because if you did, congratulations, you massive clowns.